All right, Athlete Builder back at it. It's a bit of a reunion. It's our first time that we have repeat guests. We are more than lucky to have them all back. It all started back with episode 20. Kenny Bigby, Navy SEAL, runs a jiu-jitsu place here in town. I had him on, set the all-time record for most F-bombs in the history of the Athlete Builder podcast, and it wasn't close. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street, but the black version. And I love Kenny, and I'll see him tomorrow, but every other word was F, and I had a great time. And he said, hey, you need to get a hold of my guy, Bill Brown. And he tried to like mimic Bill's voice. It was nothing like it at all, talking about the SEAL swim, so he's totally full of shit as well. So we bring Bill on. Bill talks about the New York City SEAL swim. He's episode 36. I go out there to help support them, and he introduces me to Jeff Gum, who another Navy SEALs, big supporter of the event, sponsor of the event. He keeps everybody clothed except for Kathy Remington. She tries to take all of it off on the event. But episode 40 was Jeff. Follow that up with the Kathys. Kathy with a Y, Catherine Hartwell, and then Kathy Remington, my New Hampshire workout crush. Both international triathletes, endurance athletes. Catherine does bodybuilding as well. Remington is all over the world on her Harley Davidson, just earning money however she can. They were episode 54. So started with Kenny, and multiple episodes later, we're coming up on 2 full years. And why are we meeting again today? Well, come August 16th, they're gonna run it back again in New Jersey and New York, the New York City SEAL Swim, raising money. So we want to bring them all back. It's Bill's event that he started and has championed. We have great supporters here, so we want to find out more about this year's event, talk to them about their training, see what's going on. So everyone, welcome back to the show. Looking forward to it. We got people you guys are all over the country right now. First question, we're going to start with Bill and go right through everybody. You're in New York City. What's your favorite food and where do you get it? What's your favorite food and where do you get it? Bill Brown, we'll start with you there.
Favorite food would probably have to be steak, and I would go to O'Hara's Pub, which is a historic kind of landmark because they looked after the first responders after 9/11 and the recovery crew. And so, yeah, that's it.
Bang. Jeff Gum, you're next. What do you like to eat in New York City when you're there?
Go with a steak as well, and then some tuna or whatever. Usually my cousin will take out me and a group of friends. Maybe we'll do Nobu or something like that. It's a pretty good time.
Kathy Hartwell, you're up.
Pizza. Pizza is my go-to, and anywhere.
Okay.
There's a local place by me in Hell's Kitchen, Claudio's, but I mean Joe's, Artichoke Pizza. I love pizza, so anywhere is pretty good in New York City.
Catherine's in Lake Placid right now. She just swam 100 miles today, all in one breath. You should have seen it. It's going to be on the news later. So then we got New Hampshire Kathy coming into New York. New Hampshire Kathy, when you're in New York, what's your favorite food and where?
I only really go for the SEAL swim. But my nephew lives there, so he takes us to great places, and I usually get seafood, which I don't know why, because we have the best seafood up here. But he takes me over there to it's that new place where they have that tall building, and there's restaurants in there.
Oh, the tall building in New York? Oh, that one. Got it.
No, the one that you can go stand on the edge and you feel like you're
Hudson
falling.
Yards.
Yes, Hudson Yards. Thank you, Hudson Yards. So he always takes us over there for dinner, and I just get seafood. I eat, if I can get sockeye salmon, I'll do that.
Gotcha. I've only been there a few times when I'm there. I always like the pizza on the corner, usually after I've had too many cocktails. I'm looking for some big slice, so I kind of load it up so I don't have all the alcohol just swimming around in my belly. So any kind of neighborhood corner pizza, anything in Little Italy is probably my favorite. Luke, I don't know if you've been there or not. So not yet. All right. Okay.
If I did, I'd probably find a pizza place.
Yeah, right.
Because I like
Okay.
New York style pizza.
Gotcha. So Bill, what year is this for the swim for you guys?
Coming up, we started on 2019, so coming up on 7 years.
7 years. Lucky number 7, right? So give us
Hold
the
on,
over.
hold on. I got to go to kindergarten
6.
and watch Sesame Street for 6 years.
Was that 7 shells I hit him with, or was that 6? I don't know. So we'll call it 6. We'll say it's good enough. So talk to us about the history of the event, the why, the what for, the how, the who. Give us the overall Reader's Digest of what's going on there.
Oh, there's a lot of history. Hey, Jeff, can you mute your phone?
Got it.
Hey, there's a lot of history behind this, and I think it's one of the things that separates this event than any other event is because in this event you had a lot of active Navy SEALs making a political stance in a couple different ways. So number one, the first year, 2019, Eddie Gallagher was acquitted. We stood behind Eddie, and he was going to do the swim, but then he decided not to because he didn't want to get any of the negative publicity attached to the swim in the first year. But he came there afterwards, and he rooted us on, and we all rallied around behind him, stood behind him. I gave him my flag. I put him at the closing ceremonies. I put him front and center of everybody else, and let the entire SEAL community and the military know where the warfighter stood, and we stood behind them. So that was number one, and they said it was a historic first because it was the first time that there's ever been an event that was from New Jersey across the Hudson to New York City. And they said it was logistically impossible, but we did it. On top of that, Pete Hegseth, the current Secretary of Defense, championed the event, swam with us, and got the media attention off the stratosphere. And the first year was, and Jeff is one of the plank owners, and he's been a big sponsor of this event with Sun to Life since day one, when nobody knew what was going on. Before it was what it is now. It was just 33 SEALs. We had a strap hanger. We got non-SEAL, Ryan Mickey, a great patriot, and then Pete Hegseth. And then from there, it's grown to this really big, epic, I think one of the most patriotic events in our nation. So you look at 2020, one of the things that happened is we had the whole defund movement against the law enforcement. Well, we all took a stance because a lot of police officers, NYPD, NTSP, PAPD, NYSP, they all take part in this event and they help it. And so we wanted to support them when they needed it. And so in the heart of the defund movement, we wore shorts that said NYPD, NGSPD, PAPD. We let the whole world know where we stood. There's some type of crazy buzz. Someone's got to mute.
I think we're
How about this? Anybody who's not talking should mute.
all right.
All right. So the next thing that happened is, so we sent a big flare. Like, look, the SEAL community stands with law enforcement in the heart of defund movement. Then you look at 2021. You had COVID. Every other major event in the nation except for UFC shut down. Guess what? We didn't shut down. But the Mayor de Blasio's office gave us a hard time. And then he had basically he let the FDNY know that he wanted basically a line item budget for the expenses associated with them helping our event in a year where they were asking for more funding. So they had to do the politically right thing and step away from being before we did honor push-ups and pull-ups on their flagship. But they didn't do it that year. So during COVID, we stepped up when others didn't, and we kept going. We sent a message to the nation like, look, man, we're still in this. We're still going to celebrate our patriotism, our country, and we're really not buying all these COVID bullshit mandates. So and you look at New Jersey and New York, they're two of the most blue states in the nation, but yet we didn't stop. And there was a lot of pullback behind closed scenes that a lot of people don't know about. But we moved forward. Also, one of the things we did that year is we did a push-up salute to the family members, to doctors and nurses. We went to Cooper University Hospital in South Jersey and Jersey City Medical Center in Jersey City, and SEALs did push-ups to honor all the doctors and nurses who stepped up during COVID, because we wanted to send a message that we respect those who step up for us all. in the medical fields during that, that tragedy that, to be honest with you, a lot of poor decision makers made worse because they didn't give these nursing homes or hospice care units the ability to, one, test their patients to see if they're COVID positive, and so they could segregate them. And then two, they allowed all the patients that were tested positive for COVID to come back to those facilities where senior citizens who are most susceptible and at risk to COVID, a lot of them perished because of it. Um, you look at the next year, you look at 20, what are we, I just said 2021, 2023. What did we do in 2023? Hold on, give me 1 second, I'll tell you. I apologize, guys, for the delay. 1 second. Oh man, I'm embarrassed.
It's all good. Take your time, Bill. We got plenty of time here.
Thought I sent you an email.
You did. I saw the email.
Can you forward it to me real fast? Have you got it? Because the history is real important. I want to make sure I get it right. I've been rocking and rolling with big cases before this, so my brain has turned out. 2023. Oh, 2023. What did we stand up for? We stood up against the cancel culture, against a lot of things. So a lot of SEALs, some of my friends, like Mitch Aguirre, who runs Massive Supplements, who was speaking up before about a lot of the COVID mandates, or some of our gold stars like Charlie Strange. They were speaking up against some of this stuff that was happening, and they got shut down on social media repeatedly. And I can tell you, like Mitch Aguirre, who is one of the founding plank owners of this event, who, like Jeff, was one of the leaders and really chaperoning and leading it. He had a big business, and a lot of his business was really based off his social media influence because he's a social media influencer. And when guess what happened when Instagram shut down his account, they hurt his business and almost bankrupted him. And so because he was speaking up against those mandates, and a lot of the things that he was saying turned out to be true, and they tried to destroy his livelihood. Well, guess what? When I had the chance to get on Newsmax, guess what? I put Mitch on Newsmax. I put Charles Strange on Newsmax. So they had the chance to talk about how they were wrongly discriminated against, how they were canceled because they were practicing their First Amendment right. And I'm very proud that we did that. And so, and so last year too, every year we're out there kind of raising a positive message. And what did we do last year? What political thing did I do last year that people were a little pissed off about? Any of you guys remember?
The Israelis were there.
There you go. Imagine that. When everybody was hating on Israel, guess what? I went to war against jihadists. And I can tell you the truth. After what happened, right? After what happened October 7th, it reminds you I was a first responder to 2 suicide bombings. And I'll tell you what happened was I was going to, at the time I was a bodyguard for the Deputy Prime Minister of Iraq, Burham Salah. Because in 2005, SEALs guarded the top 5 dignitaries in Iraq and Afghanistan. And anyway, we were going to chow. We had armored Suburbans, and this cafe blew up right as we're in a circle driving by. It blows up, all the debris raining down on the Suburban. Where's 2 of us, 2 Suburbans. And so they were armored, and we had a corpsman with us. So we set up a perimeter, and it's a bad scene. When I tell you it's a bad scene, I'm not bullshitting. It's a bad, nightmarish, gory scene. And like 20 people were killed, and a bunch of people were injured. And the people that injured, sometimes I have a hard time sleeping about it because it's the women screaming, their faces ripped off, and body parts, brain parts, and shit like that all around. And anyway, so what happened is we set up a perimeter, and our corpsman was doing a triage. And I had this crazy Iraqi who spoke a little English, and he comes up to me. He's like, Jordanian, Jordanian, this way, this way, this way. And this was the first time the green zone got hit. So me and another SEAL, I asked my LPO, Hoot, because he was the highest ranking guy at the time. Mikel Vega, he goes by his name now. He did the swim one year. I said, hey, Hoots, man, I got this crazy Iraqi here. I want to fucking go kill this suicide bomber who went down the road towards the major trauma center. So me and this other SEAL try to get him. But what happened was everybody's running around there crazy. And they're running around there crazy because this suicide bombing just happened. And one of the things they did there is they had these big, like they called them Jersey barriers, which are small reinforced construction barriers, and then Texas barriers, which are larger. And they out of these big Texas barriers, they made like these little caves. And why they made them is because the indigenous Iraqis would get bussed in and do the manual labor to try to fix up part of Baghdad, because after shock and awe, we hit it pretty hard. And so there's what happened is they periodically they would get mortared. So people would hide out inside these like little caves. Well, because of the suicide bombing, everybody's packed in there like sardines, and then you got people running around. So me and my buddy just aren't hauling ass to get this guy. We're doing a leapfrog. Well, I didn't hear this second explosion. We got past the hospital, but we're still going. But I was very attuned to my buddy's muzzle, and he goes like this, and it was a mushroom cloud. The guy went into the middle of a bazaar and blew it up. And so then I saw a bunch of other people killed. And so what I saw on October 7th, the same thing for me in Iraq. I didn't know too much about that or weapons of mass destruction or this or that. But when I saw those two suicide bombings, I was all about taking it to jihadists. And so what happened to me there, when I saw what happened October 7th, guess what? I was against it. And so when you talk about what we did in 2024, we had some Israeli SEALs who do the swim with us every year. And so I was like, fuck that, man. We're going to look out for you guys. We're going to say a message. We're against this. So guess what? Let the Israeli SEALs lead the flag run into New York City. And so me and Mitz had our American flags. We're in front, but then we had the Israeli flags right next to us. And they were pretty deep. I think there was 21 of them. And that got covered on Fox News. So the whole world got a message that the war fighters and the SEAL teams, we stood by the war fighters and the IDF that are fighting jihadists. Because I don't know about this or that, but I know when you start raping and blowing up innocent people, you got a problem with me.
Well, man, there's a lot more to it than just, hey, we're going to swim across the Hudson to raise money. There's a lot more of the reasons why. Every year, there's different reasons, but still an overall overarching theme. Similar to Dr. King, peaceful protests, standing up for just basic constitutional rights, raising awareness, doing something that's harmless like push-ups, just to, again, raise awareness, and then it keeps spreading. More people. This year should be close to 400 people versus just in the 30s the first year. They've raised millions of dollars collectively. I think $750,000 last year alone. Jeff, you were a SEAL, a sponsor of this event. And what's great about Jeff, like he lives the life that every kind of guy wants, like the Magnum PI life. He was just at the UFC fight the night before. If you go on his Sunga webpage for the swimsuits, he's the male model that they use even. They don't bring in outside talent. The CEO is the talent. He's out there. He's wearing this little shoestring for a bathing suit, and I think he wore the same thing when he swam the Alcatraz out there in the bay. But Jeff, talk about
blanket of freedom. Keep me warm out there.
Your blanket of freedom, right? Your Kathy Remington shoestring of freedom that you like to wear. So talk about your involvement and how your company supports it. Why Sunga Life has its name. And how you get to have all the fun climbing mountains and swimming in the coral reef and diving out of airplanes, basically everything you see on the 4th of July where the guys are saying, hold my beer, watch this, how you get to live that lifestyle. Talk about that.
When you're on the right path, doors will open where there was previously walls, and I just get pulled into awesome things all the time. Bill reached out to me. We actually didn't know each other at the time, but he's like, yeah, we're going to swim the Hudson. and we're gonna have all these team guys do it. It's gonna be like patriotic event, honoring all our fallen brothers, the 9/11 victims. I grew up just 90 minutes away from New York, and we used to do field trips there all the time. My parents brought me there when I was a little kid for like Broadway plays, and we used to go to Little Italy and do all this different stuff. So it really like hit me hard when 9/11 happened. So it was a huge honor to be able to go back as a SEAL, be able to swim that with my brothers. And so I just started hitting up all my SEALs and friends that I knew, and started bringing in like Kaj and Mitch and all the guys, Ian Chanelli eventually, and then more and more guys. Everybody just kept, and now it's grown to over 400 people and about 100 SEALs every year. So it's just this big, awesome, epic event. And yeah, I mean, one of my favorite parts about it is that you don't just get to do it with like the guys. I became so close with Bill and so close with guys from like older generations, and then now there's guys who are like just getting out, coming in, guys who I even put through training when I was a SEAL instructor. So it's just awesome. It's like a big reunion every year, except we're doing something awesome. Where we even like Pete Hegseth came and supported us when we were brand new. He didn't have to. He was an Army infantry officer, not a very good swimmer at the time. And on like a day's notice, he decided to jump in and join the swim with us. And it was tough for him, and he struggled, and he was like struggling in the current, and he persevered and never gave up. And he did that for us because he saw like the brotherhood that we had, and he wanted to support us. So when there was a lot of people who were coming out against him for this last, when he was going through his confirmation process, Bill led the way, brought us all out there, and we were able to stand up for him the way he stood up for us in the beginning and helped get the confirmation. There's a lot of people who said no way, and then they ended up flipping. It went to 50-50, and then JD came in for the win. So it's just unbelievable what like him and like Trump have been able to do now to restore military, make it, bring back the lethality with it. And that might not, it's possible, I don't know, might not have never happened if all the SEALs didn't come in, if Bill didn't organize that with Tim Parlatore and bring that together. And it, so many things have come together because of this swim. Just think of the butterfly effect and the things because of that very first swim we went together. It's very, very powerful.
That's awesome. One of the 6 core values with athlete builders, teamwork, and it's clearly is the same with you guys. A lot of times you guys don't even refer to as being in the SEALs. These guys refer to each other as being on the teams, back in the teams, And so when I had the teams, the team Kathy's on, I met Kathy Hartwell first. I'm at last year's event, and she's just walking by, this super lean person with a huge smile on her face. Looked like she had just swam a lap in the pool at the swim up bar at the local resort. Didn't look like she was fatigued at all. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go up and say hello and ask her to be on my show. And so I went up and saw Kathy Hartwell and asked her about Kathy Remington. So, Kath, like when people join a fraternity, it's usually because someone says, "Hey, you should come check this place out." So you're clearly not in the SEAL community, but someone probably dragged you to an event or told you about it or you heard about it. So talk about how you got involved and how that kind of evolved over the years.
Yeah, so my first year was 2020, and I work in the security industry in New York City, and I work with Brian Valenza, who's a SEAL, and he's the one that told me about the swim, and there were no triathlons in 2020, so I was upset to not race, and I was like, Brian, get me into the SEAL swim, because I know he's done it, and he got me in, vouched for me, I did the swim test, and it was just an honor in 2020 to do it when it was just 50 of us. So just 50 of us. There was one other female. She was the wife of one of the SEALs. She was badass, like banging out all these pull-ups like nobody's business. And just being there with these amazing humans, like that's absolutely what I loved. And then just to see it grow over the years, this is gonna be my fifth SEAL swim. And up to 400 people. Like Bill shoved me on Fox and Friends last year. He's great. Bill's great. He's like, diversity. He's like, Catherine, get in there. And I'm like, I got my swim cap on. I look like a bald man going on national television. But it was great. Like, honestly, every year you meet the most amazing people from all over the world. Like, it's an event I can't miss. My parents come every year. It's so patriotic. Like, it's in New York City. I could not miss this event every year. And it's an honor to be in the same area on this barge with all these amazing humans. It really is. You're muted.
That's absolutely outstanding. And I met other folks on the barge last year, and they ended up being on my show, or they introduced me to other folks. And it's pretty easy to find other guests for the show when you put yourself in the middle of doers, high caliber people, authentic people that are working to better themselves mentally, physically, collectively. So if I'm around groups like that, it sure is easy to find more guests because it's a target rich environment. And when I met you, I'm like, hey, I got to meet the green Kathy. And he's like, what? Well, there's just some chick out there, and I got my binoculars. I'm just trying to figure out who these people are. Everyone is wearing blue. Everyone has fins. And there's some lady with Rapunzel like blonde hair down to her feet, past her feet probably. She's wearing an all green swimsuit, no fins. We end up having her on the show later. She just passed her 29th birthday about a week ago. And she just started swimming for the first time recently. Doesn't even run in her family, but it turns out that Kathy Remington from New Hampshire is a badass swimmer internationally. Kathy, talk about your history with swimming, giving back, and your involvement in the Marine Corps.
Okay, yeah. So my dad's in the Hall of Fame for swimming. So of course we're all swimmers. Um, and we're all military. Dad was Army. Then I went in first. Then my older brother, when I was down at school at Paris Island, my older brother got caught with a joint in his pocket, and the judge is like, "You got to go in the service." So he was signed up for delayed entry with the Air Force. So he ended up had to get out of there like the next day because he decided to run over some Hell's Angels motorcycles because he got pissed at them. So the judge had to get him out of town. So he was next thing I know, my dad calls me while I'm in school down there and says, "Hey, your brother's over there at 3rd Battalion." So he joined, and then my kid brother became a Navy diver 3 years later. So we're all military, except for my mom, who wanted to go in more than any of us. So, and the story with the green bathing suit is when I checked in for the Navy SEAL swim last year, that was how I met Hugh, Catherine. He comes over and he goes, "All we have is this," and it was the large shorts. And I'm like, "You're kidding me." So the only other suit that I brought with me was that green one. I think I brought this Marine Corps one too. And I thought, yeah, I better not wear a bikini to a swim
Hmm.
like that. So that's how I ended up with the green one. So, and I ended up joining the swim because I saw it from year one when when Pete had it on Fox and Friends. And like the first time I saw the Iron Man, I looked at my dad and said, "I'll be doing that." And then my dad just looked at me and laughed. And then with the Navy SEAL swim, he said, "Are you crazy? That's like New York City water." And I'm like, "Nope, I'm going to do it." And then my mom took ill and passed away. And then the next year, dad took ill. So it never worked out for me until after dad had passed away. So,
Well, they're lucky to have you on the team representing, and again with no fins, big smile, moving
Bill
right
doesn't
along.
know. Bill doesn't know about the no fins. Now you just told him.
Well, there's pictures of it of you sitting there on the barge in the corner with no fins on.
Oh,
So you were outed way before this, today.
yeah. Bruce Newsom said, "Don't." Yeah, Bill.
Push-ups for you, Kathy.
What's that?
10 extra push-ups for you, Kathy.
No
10 extra.
problem. I can do it.
So Bill, I got for everybody out of the, you'll be getting a similar question, but Bill, first, I'm not saying all good things come to an end, but sometimes there's a transition, and at some point, I think your event's going to continue on. Is there any thought of having someone else run it or growing it to 500 or 600? Is the first question. And the second question is, what do you love about the event physically? Like what actual components? And what part do you like? You know what? I don't love this part, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, it's kind of like one of my babies. Definitely one of my biggest victories. And the message it sends is really powerful. I think one that the nation really needs right now is a positive, patriotic message of unity. And it's in the heart of basically some of the wokest parts of our nation that is. And so, and also one of the parts of our financial capitals of our nation, New York City, and our nation's greatest city. It's got over 8 million people. So from like, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a very high chess player. And so from kind of the chessboard perspective, it's like the center of the chessboard. It's got a lot of influence. It's probably the marquee PR event for the entire SEAL community every year. So I'm still in incredibly good shape, and look for me on point for as long as I possibly can.
Awesome.
Two is this, the message. When you talk about what it's really about, one is look at the great Americans that we have right here on your podcast. That's what's the best part of this swim. And then you look at down to the rosters of the guys who swim, it's pretty epic. And by the way, uh, we have some kind of very cool people. Today, Scott Ruskin, the gentleman who saved over 100 kids, 120 kids in Texas, he's swimming this year. And we have, and
Oh, wow.
just think some of our speakers. Ron Dan Francisco. He was the last known person out of the World Trade Center to live. He's one of our speakers. Michaela Cruz. She was on the 95th floor of the Trade Center on Tower 2 when Tower 1 got hit. She's one of our speakers. James Dow. His father was a firefighter killed on 9/11. His name was Lieutenant Kevin Dow. Guess what? He's a firefighter as well. He's one of our speakers. And if you go down the list of the confirmed swimmers, how many individuals there that lost family members on 9/11 that are swimming to honor them? Or how many of them are Gold Star family members themselves that are swimming? Or Navy SEALs like myself and Jeff? Or veterans, police officers, or firefighters? You will never see another event in the nation with that type of lineup. And that's what makes this event really iconic. Event number two, let's talk about it. You literally swim to the Statue of Liberty, right by it, like as close as you possibly can get. And you do 100 push-ups and 22 pull-ups to honor our nation's freedoms and civil liberties. Then we pop back in the water and we swim to Ellis Island, where millions and millions of American families started and became citizens in this nation. And by the way, we do our honor push-ups at the Statue of Liberty for our nation's freedoms and civil liberties. 100 push-ups, 22 pull-ups. Then at Ellis Island, we do 100 push-ups, 22 pull-ups to honor all those who came to our nation for a better life, celebrate our nation's diversity. Then we pop, and by the way, speaking of diversity, we have Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Alexander. And basically, he's a huge advocate for African American officers in our military. And so then after doing 100 push-ups and 22 pull-ups at Ellis Island to honor all those who came to our country for a better life and for our nation's diversity, we swim all the way across the Hudson to South Cove Marina, and we get in Lower Manhattan, and we get a bunch of American flags. And there we run into the World Trade Center. Now think about this, running into the World Trade Center and 100% confirmed. Guess what I have this year? FDNY Pipers, PAPD Pipers, and guess what? NYPD Pipers, all playing for us. Oh, and I forgot to mention, that's coming into the World Trade Center. We have New Jersey State Police bagpipers playing for us coming in. And think about this. I've had over 6 gold stars jump over the Statue of Liberty at the start of our swim into Liberty State Park. Like, what other event has that? I have gold, because I believe in adventure therapy, and I believe it's good for our gold stars too. And I have gold stars swimming with us, kayaking with us, be part of the adventure. Now we get into the World Trade Center, ground zero, the first responder statue. We do 122 pull-ups to honor all those lost, all those who lost their lives stepping up for our country. And then after that, we take our flags around the reflection ponds of World Trade Center, and we have a moment of reflection and silence. It is an epic event. It brings some of the greatest Americans together. And think about this. Jeff hit a good point. Pete Hegseth was a champion of this event. 100%. And guess what? Will Kane from Fox News, a big advocate champion for the event, he's swimming this year. Carl Higbee, he's a SEAL. He's never swam, but he's every year he promotes it on Newsmax for us. So we have a lot of love. And one of the things you guys might not understand is I am actually a lawyer and I really represent a lot of SEALs. And I've been involved in some very high profile cases in the SEAL community that haven't got a lot of public attention, specifically because I was on those cases and did everything I could for them not to get attention because I thought it was in the best interest of my clients and the SEAL community. But I have no doubt that every email that goes out. Admiral Sands is copied and leadership at NSW on every one of those emails. And have no doubt that the SEAL community and the Navy SEAL Foundation, they trust me because I've earned that trust. Because everyone knows I'm going to do everything I can to represent the SEAL community in a positive way.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. You talk about, the continue to have speakers that make an impact and passing it along. I was sitting up there and listened to the speakers at the end last year, and you introduced this lady, and you said it was Danny Dietz's mother, and my head turns. I was like, no shit. What? Really? So she was speaking, and then I called up Bill one time, and I said, hey, can you introduce me to Tim Brown? Tim Brown is the FDNY chief that was on site during 9/11, and he came on the show to talk about what it was like to survive the event, losing 100 of his brothers and his best friends. And from there, he then introduced me to Jay Dobbins. So you talk about the Hells Angels. He's an ATF agent. I read one of his 2 books, No Angel, how he goes undercover, infiltrates, becomes a fully patched Hells Angel, and starts bringing down all the bad guys for money laundering, guns, drugs. So it was just a big domino effect. And you surround yourself with people that are always pushing to make the world a better place, do the right thing, high integrity folks. And that's who comes to this event, trying to raise awareness and keep making everyone better, make an impact. So my guy, Jeff, talk about making an impact. And Bill mentions adventure therapy. Talk about how adventure therapy, good for the soul, mentally, physically, living that lifestyle, but also like there's having fun while you're working and still getting a good job done. So talk about adventure therapy for you and also making an impact along the way.
Yeah, I'll say, there's been the reason we do 22 pull-ups here is because bringing awareness for veteran suicide. And I believe 2 of the main reasons people really struggle when they get out. One of them is they lose the mission. They lose something really important that we're doing. Us going out, hunting terrorists, hunting the most evil people in the world, and keeping our country and our loved ones safe. When you lose that, it can be hard and come back. And then the other one is the community. We have like the ultimate brotherhood, Navy SEALs. We go out, we do everything together, skydive, blow stuff up, hunt terrorists. And if you come back, you move back to your hometown or something, that also can be really tough for guys. So having events like this, what like Bill put together, like solves both of them. You're out, you're doing a mission, you're raising money for Gold Star families, and you're doing it with your best friends in the world. And some of them you might not have even known yet. And women, absolutely. Everyone, one team, one fight, all of us together. Men, women, Marines, SEALs. I love how this has like so many different law enforcement agencies coming in, so many different, every part of the service is represented, and going out and doing that together and having a mission, having a community is like one of the most important things you can do. And I'm lucky enough to get pulled into so many of these things. And I just always try to say yes when it's possible. You're muted.
You're right. So it's an adventure. So you're doing hard things, but then it gets a lot easier because you're doing it with a group, and then you're making an impact along the way. One thing about Catherine, obviously she makes an impact with this event. She's very patriotic, but she's also that fun aunt, right? She has a little niece and nephew. I think it was she was telling me about where she's outside digging in the dirt. She comes in there picking out worms out of the garden and having all the fun and making sure the kids are riding bikes. Catherine, talk about leading by example in your family, but also with your friends, where you're doing things like your parents come to support you, but you're still passing it on to other generations of leading by example and making an impact all the time.
It's I steal Bill's quote all the time is adventure therapy, and I mean it's to the T. Like it's always finding that next adventure and just living your life. And I just love playing in the dirt with my nephew, digging for worms, getting them out, running around the block. But the swim is the best. And talking about adventure therapy and finding a goal and a mission, all the veterans that come out of the service. I am a leader for Team Red, White, and Blue as well, which is a veterans organization that enriches veterans through physical and social activities. So I met them when I first signed up for the Ironman in Lake Placid. And the whole thing is, you get a lot of veterans, civilians, sign up for this crazy long endurance event, train together and like suffer and complete it together. So that's what it's all about, finding that mission, finding that goal, push towards it, and just, constantly finding the camaraderie in it.
Oh man.
And you just always find the next thing, which, a bodybuilding competition just like came up and the opportunity came and I couldn't say no. It was another completely different challenge, totally out of my comfort zone. Being in heels, spray paint, spray tan on a stage in a skimpy bikini. That is not me at all. I can lift weights, great. I can live in the gym, easy, eat a lot of protein, no problem. But put makeup on, hair, like skimpy bikini, spray tan on stage, everyone's staring at you, scared the shit out of me. But
Well,
I
I bet
did,
it was,
and it was the most terrifying, the most challenging thing I've ever done, and it was awesome.
and it was
So,
awesome.
like, and
That
Jeff was saying too, like doors open, the people you meet. I just like randomly met this coach, and he was like, "I'll get you ready in 12 weeks," and I was like, "I'm in." I was like, "I met you for a reason. Let's do it." And I love the way things happen like that.
that's
Just
huge.
like the seal swim, how it just has blossomed in this huge event from 2019 with 30 people to 50 people to 400 people.
Hey, Jim, let me tell you something about Kathy. She'll bust your balls in the middle of the water.
Oh,
She's sitting by me, busting my chops about not breathing, bilateral breathing, and critiquing the shit out of my stroke as she flies by me.
Yeah, we were doing the dial-in swim that year, right? And it was like really windy and choppy. And I was saying, like, if you breathe to the left and you breathe towards the Statue of Liberty, you won't, breathe to the right and swallow in all this water. So I was like, you need to be a bilateral breather for this reason, like open water swimming. Like, you need to be able to breathe on both sides. And yeah, I gave them that tip because it was so windy. I'm like, guys, breathe to the left, breathe to the Statue of Liberty. You won't swallow in all this salt water.
hmm.
So yeah.
And she could swim. When she talked about the test swim that she did, you know what she didn't tell you? She beat everybody.
So
No, same team. There was no race. Not beating anyone.
she's full of shit. She races everybody. She races someone at dinner on who eats faster. She's giving me. I was getting ready for this triathlon to get ready for this event, and she's like, "Hey Jim, you need make sure you do the triathlon without any fins, so you prepare for it." And I go, "Girl, I don't get in the shower now without my fins on. I'm so addicted to those things. There's no way. My wife gets all freaked out, but I don't care. I'm faster in the shower and everywhere else because I got my fins on all the time. So whatever." New Hampshire Kathy Remington, with all these events and there's a preparation that goes into it. Other than Jeff, who says, when I asked him last year at the park, how often did you swim to prepare? He goes, well, I swam one time. So that motherfucker just swam one time and did just fine. So I hate people like that. Oh my God, I didn't study for this test and I got an A plus. So fuck him. But Kathy, talk about the discipline of training because you're 62, 63 years old, been swimming for decades, and your dad was an Olympic level swimmer, Hall of Famer. Talk about day in and day out. Because I just texted her the other day. She goes, well, I'm going to bike 60 miles and then go for a 2 mile swim just for fun while my husband's sleeping in a Barca lounger. And I'm going to drive around in my bikini and my Harley to let everyone know that he's asleep and that I'm available. So, Kathy, talk about the discipline going into your training so that year after year you're ready for this. You're muted.
I'm muted.
There you go.
Okay. Am I on now? I think I just had really disciplinary parents, I mean, they were just, my mother was worse than any of us, and we were all military. She wasn't. And I just was brought up, you get up from a table, you push your chair in, someone gives you something, you thank them. Every time my parents taught us to write letters, we were writing our cousins weekly. So I had that discipline from a very young age. And I'm just an A type person. I mean, I just, it's easy for me to clean my house every day where most people are like, oh my God, that can wait till later. I can't. I got to get it done. Like if there's dirt there, I got to pick it up. So I'm just disciplined in everything that I do. And I love to train. I love to swim, bike, and run. I can't wait. Like today, I'm like, I got to go for a run. I know I need a day off, but I got to go for a run. So I just put on my last customer came, put a sign up, put on my running shoes, ran down the street, and I meant to go 8, and I ended up playing with the 2 brand new baby cows, and I only did 5. So I get sidetracked. But yeah, I'm pretty disciplined, and I think it was prior to the Marine Corps, it was my mom. And then once I got in the Marine Corps, I wanted those dress blues. I wanted to graduate #1. I wanted the PFT award. I'm very competitive. And I'm sure, Catherine, you feel the same way. Like, I just have really embarrassed myself in the last couple nationals, and I'm not this year. And I just noticed we have 30 new 60-year-olds popping up. So I got to train twice as hard to be faster than them. So.
Don't you love how she says hard, like that East Coast accent that she brings to the table? It makes me want. I want to give her like a phone book and just have her start reading. It's going to make me just put me in a better mood. If you listen to our first episode with Bill, number 36, he starts off when he refers himself as a rough and tumble type kid. He's getting in fights, getting arrested, might not graduate high school. Fast forward, gets through Navy boot camp, buds, is a full-blown SEAL, then graduates Rutgers, and then of all things, a law degree. So someone who struggled to graduate high school ends up with a law degree. So there's obviously a level of perseverance. There's discipline that Kathy talks about, but there's a perseverance when you're in pain. And no matter how you prepare, at some point over a 3-hour event, even though this is your baby and you love it, like you're all in. But even talking to you last year when you were done, obviously you're exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, you're drained. And there's times when you're training or you're doing the event and you're in pain and you got to find some way to focus, a mantra, and a way to keep going. Talk about what your mantra is, how you keep going when you're in pain and there's no quit in you.
That's to Jeff.
That's the Bill.
That's to Bill. Okay.
So Bill's showing us his boobies on TV here, so he's naked, and so I see his tattoo, but I can't quite read it. So read what that says there, Bill.
Doesn't kill me, makes me stronger.
So that's Nietzsche.
Nietzsche.
What's
Yes,
it say?
sir. Whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Got that
Nietzsche.
before first days in bike. Probably not the best thing to do. Because the first day at Buds, we're doing a pool evolution. Of course, we got our shirts off, and my tattoo's all scabby, And the guy I got a tattoo with, he got like a yin and yang. Of course, he quit like a week into it. I got this tattoo, and the structures are all around me, like a bear on honey. And one of the instructors, he starts telling me, he goes, I'm going to make you quit, and for the rest of your life, you're going to have to see that tattoo on your chest until you're a quitter. And I was really cocky in a way, because I was white in New Jersey, so I was fighting for my kid, my neighborhood. So I was like, I was not really afraid of the instructors, which is kind of a mistake. And I was like, you can fucking cut off my balls, and I'm not going to quit. And then they came at me fucking hardcore. That was some of the toughest experiences I ever had in my life because I didn't go through floods like the Gray Man. Like I took the hammer like time 5 hardcore. But I never regretted it. The truth is, man, life kicks the shit out of all of us. And if you're still breathing, fuck it, man. You can still swing back. And that's pretty much it. And I tell you the truth. If somehow, some way, someone ever says I kill myself, that's bullshit. I'm going out with bullets and gun smoke. Well, as long as I can breathe, I'm fighting. 100%.
Beautiful. You know, Jeff's got a big tattoo. You can see it on his Sungo website. I don't know if he has one written on his back or not. If he does, it would say something like "Open for Business." But Jeff, you know, when you're going through all this adversity, sometimes I never see it happen without a big smile. Like you're just having a good time. You know, like I saw you, you're finished with the run, and like you're just like it's like you just got off a roller coaster at Disney World. Man, how do you keep that smile when everyone else is dying around you?
Deep down, I think we're all just a bunch of sick individuals to make it through SEAL training. I don't know. Um,
Wow.
if you take yourself too serious and angry, I think it's just going to be even harder. If you can uh, just try to enjoy the suffering, then it just makes it all easier. Like it's gonna suck either way. Just do it with a smile on your face. And sometimes even if it's like you're really suffering, you just pretend you're not suffering, and it'll just be you're gonna trick yourself into thinking it's easier than it is. Um, and
Nice.
nobody likes a complainer either. If you're like really struggling and like barely able to like make it and you're just complaining the whole time, everyone's gonna be like, get away, I don't want you around me, you know. But if you're
Never.
like that positive uh mentality is very infectious. So if you're positive and you're lifting people up and you have a smile on your face and everyone's like, all right, well, if he's, crushing this, I can crush this too. I'm not going to be the guy that's complaining when he's all positive. So I just, I just try to, do it all with a smile on my face, whatever I do.
I'm gonna act like I'm drowning in the water, so then I'll have my arms up so the Cathy's have to come save me, kind of like Squints and Wendy Peppercorn in the Sandlot. I'm gonna be like, "Hey girls, I need help here. Jump back in here and dog paddle over here." Catherine helped me out. I published two books, and the second one I was in New York for the publication. It was in Times Square, and she came to the release and the dinner, and she, big smiles, and everyone's eating food and drinking. Of course, she had like one drink because she's watching her calories. She has this event coming up where she's going to be, on stage. First time she's on stage. Yeah, right. Catherine, let's say you get to that barge, and let's say you're first, and the Statue of Liberty is right there behind you, and it's just like the WWE, where you got to have a walkout song. So you're first one up the ladder, and Catherine's there, and hey, I'm the first one. What's your walkout song going to be for the whole world to hear if that were the case?
I mean, it's definitely the Rocky song, right? It's
Yeah.
almost like you get to the top of the steps. Like I
Right?
always so my plan is always to get to the barge first because there's only like 4 or 5 pull-up bars. And I'm not the best of the pull-ups, so my goal is to get there, get most of the pull-ups banged out, get all the 22 banged out, and then the push-ups I just break up and you can do it anywhere. So that's always the goal is to get there first and get it on. But the Statue of Liberty, like that is my favorite barge. Like standing there, beautiful day, there's the Statue of Liberty, there's like Lower Manhattan. There's all these like I'm a girl and there's like, 300 men. So I'm like, these beautiful people, like and I'm single, so I'm like, I could do this all day. It's like, I love this.
So
Like,
she's first
I
one there. The Rocky song's playing. Mr. Open for Business comes in next, right behind. Kathy Remington, what's your walkout song going to be? Your first one, you know, to the trade center. And you're
God, there's
there,
so many.
long blonde hair. What's the song that's gonna be playing that people can hear from you?
There's so many songs. I did my figure competition to AC/DC. I need like rock and roll, banging. I mean something either Aerosmith, AC/DC, just something bang and get everybody yeah. But I gotta go back. I gotta tell Bill this one thing. So I'm in boot camp and everyone's crying. And I'm getting so sick of hearing everybody whining. I'm like, why is everybody crying? Just go to bed. You go to bed at 7:40. You wake up at 4:40 and just do what the DI's tell you and you'll make it through this 8 weeks. It's easy. And so finally the drill instructor came up to me and they're like, why are you right in my face. There's like 3 of them screaming at me. Why aren't you crying? We're going to make you cry. And I stood there at attention and I just remember the gunny coming out. She just picked up Gunny and she's like, why don't you cry? And I go, ma'am, because my mother was a lot meaner than you guys are. That was it. I was screwed for the rest of boot camp. I had to go on that 90-mile hike or whatever the hell we did out to ICT, and I had to have the two weakest people holding on to me with their backpacks. It was brutal. I was like, I should have just kept my mouth shut.
Mm.
That was so funny because, ma'am, my mother was meaner than you'll ever be. It was just perfect. But that was one of my goals. I think I would have made, I've talked to the girl who did make it through Buds. I've sent her a soldier's hug bracelet. I think I could have made it through Buds easily, without a
Easily.
doubt. When I was doing my figure competition, I was pounding out 20 pull-ups better than the guys were in the gym. Push-ups had never been a problem for me. I think in the discipline, I could take anyone screaming at me. If you guys, no one could have ever lived with my mom. And my dad told me that on his deathbed. He goes, "You were such a trooper to deal with your mother." and he said, "She better be in good behavior school up there in heaven when I get there."
The
But
long-haired blonde version of Demi Moore in G.I. Jane.
I could have done it. To this day, I honestly think I could probably go to Buds now and probably do it. I
Mm.
do. I really do. I think I could make it at least. I mean, I may ring that bell, but I think I could make it through many weeks before I did. That for me, like, and Catherine, you have to admit it. To lie in that water and to have that water just keep coming over you and coming over you and coming, like you and I could handle the swim portion of it without a problem. The swim portion wouldn't even be a problem for us.
Do you know what boats on heads is?
No,
You don't.
Yes.
no. What is that?
You run 50 miles with a boat on your head during Hell Week, and it rips all the skin off the middle of your head, and guys break their necks and pass out and everything you can imagine.
Yeah,
But
probably not.
playing in the water is probably the easiest thing we do.
Was
And
it? Because I saw a lot of people crying coming out of that
yeah,
in the movies that I've seen.
it's because they didn't want to go back under the boat.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Massachusetts.
I'd like to give it a try.
Where are you by Boston?
Yeah, I'm about 40 miles from Boston.
You should do the Boston Frogman swim.
Yeah, I was gonna do that this year. Bruce Newsom came into town to hang out with my husband and I was gonna do it, but I can't. There was something up, and I can't remember what
I think,
happened.
I think you got the go down. I think you can run and swim. I don't know how you have to run, but I don't know how you could handle in the cold. I don't, because I'm one of two guys that does Boston without a wetsuit. Now, if you could do Boston Frogman without a wetsuit, then I think you'd be maybe do all right with the cold water. But that's it. That's something that a lot of people don't know that's going to hit them, like serious cold water.
Yeah.
But
I actually did it with Bill with no wetsuit as well.
I hate
I'm like,
wetsuits.
you always
I
gotta be
hate 'em.
marketing, you know? You always gotta be marketing.
Well, what was the temperature? Wasn't it 58 that day? I thought I looked at it that day. It was like 58, which that's easy to do.
hell no, it wasn't no 58. Do the Boston Frogman swim without a wetsuit, and you'll see what's what. Like you can handle that without a wetsuit. I think maybe you make it through hell.
Okay.
I did Alcatraz too in a Speedo.
I did Alcatraz twice.
Cold. That was a cold one.
That is for 48. 48 when I did
That was a
Alcatraz.
cold one. And
That's
then
where I
pockets
shattered all
that
these
were
bones.
colder too.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you, broken Kathy's, if there's two women that might make it through, but it's probably you two. You're both badasses. There's no doubt about it.
I think Catherine could do it. I think she could do it. And I'd give it a hell of a try.
I think
To be honest with you, I think you two would give it a run for your money.
Yep.
I think Catherine would be looking around with big smiles on her face saying hello.
So
Bill,
I,
you know,
I think Kathy would be hooking up a lot of seals.
yeah, right,
so I've done 7
Didn't
Ironman.
deny that.
right.
Yeah. I've done 7 Ironman, probably at least, I'd have to look through my race numbers, probably at least 28 halves. and I don't know how many Olympics, and I hate doing these sprints, but it's all they really offer, you know. So my next 3 races are all Olympic with the sprint. I'm flying back Saturday night after the SEAL swim to do the Boston Olympic the very
Mm.
next day.
22 cat.
What's
And
that?
who's going to get on the barges first? The 22.
Catherine, she's way faster than I am.
Race.
Well, plus she's wearing fins too. So Bruce and I swam together here in the pool, and we didn't wear the fins, and Bruce and I swam the same pace. I'm a little bit behind him, and he
I
got
didn't
out
wear
probably.
fins the first year. In 2020, Brian Valenza told me to check the fins.
Yeah, check
First
the
year I didn't use
fins.
fins. Yeah, Brian's like, you don't wear fins in triathlons. It's like,
Yeah.
why do you have fins? I was like, because everyone has fins. You're supposed to be. He's like, throw them away. I was like,
Check them.
okay.
Bruce and I got up 20% on all the. Bruce was saying I'd get climb out, and he's like, we're probably top 20. I like it without the fins. I cramp so bad. I'm training with them now. I can't even do 500 yards without crying in the pool. I'm like throwing them. The lifeguards laughing at me. And then the SEALs told me to do mustard packs. And I'm like, I'm not going to put mustard packs in my bag. Unroll the bag, do a mustard pack. I'm like, forget it. I'm just going without fins.
You know, Jeff said no one likes a complainer.
Yeah, I don't complain. I just go without them. I'm not complaining. I'm just going to go without them. I get on the
Well,
barge and Catherine goes, "Did you just do that without fins?" I go, "Yeah, fins are cheating. Remember?"
she,
And I just hate them. And that one girl lost a fin, and then one of the SEALs lost a fin. So I tried to get them together so they could share the fins.
so this year's theme after party is like rock and roll and rap, and so you know, Bill's a guy from my age group, but he also is a bit, you know, hood in him as well. So there's a bit hood, a bit street, but also, you know, a bit rock and roll. So Bill, what's your walkout song gonna be WWE style?
It would probably be Metallica, Unforgiven.
Okay. I bet for Jeff it's Genuine's Ride the Pony, but Jeff, what's your song gonna be?
He's gonna drown us.
So Jeff, you had to pick a song for your walkout. What's that gonna be?
Is he muted?
No, he's open.
He's gonna play it.
Love it. Love it. You
Frogman.
know, man, I love that. My wife and I just saw Dirks Bentley on Friday. We were big country guys. Not for nothing. You talk about patriotism. How about a couple of Super Bowls ago, Chris Stapleton and that national anthem? Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Man, what a rendition. Man, grown ass men are in the stands, coaches, and you guys see they're just sitting there with a stoic face. Tears are coming down with the way he's playing that national anthem. Bill, who do you have on tap this year for the national anthem?
All right, so we actually have some pretty interesting people singing. Jeff had a big part in this. Jeff, you want to talk a little bit about Suzanne Lakes?
Yeah. So Savannah, she was actually Miss Teen New Jersey, so she's from the area. Her father is a retired Marine, and she was a professional singer and songwriter, and she performed at Delilah for many years to like all kinds of big stars out there, had a whole band, and then now she mainly just does private parties with her band birthdays and things for different celebrities and really wealthy people. So she's a huge patriot. She actually had asked about performing at Operation 300, and she went there and for the Red, White, and Blue Bash, and she went and sang, blew it out of the water, and then she's been asking about this. So just help connect her with Bill, and she's got an incredible voice, huge patriot and everything. So really excited for her performance to be out there.
Awesome.
Also, we have Daniela Alora, who is Miss Intergalactic. She swims She sings the last 4 years. She does a marvelous job. So they'll be kind of changing out, working out exactly who's singing what. But we're really blessed to have two patriotic and amazing singers.
Oh man, it's so fun, so fun. As we're wrapping up here, Catherine, for people that are thinking about doing something hard, adventure therapy, or supporting an event like this, for some, like for me, for me, swimming was swimming up to a swim up bar at a resort 14 months ago, and I'm on day 185 of swimming. So for those that are trying new endeavors, trying to better themselves, take on scary things like you said, walk around on stage in heels, like that's probably scary for you. But talk about what's your advice for folks that are trying to do things that are new and unusual and hard.
Listen, like I always say, like you don't grow if you don't challenge yourself, right? Like challenges equals changes, right? That's a good quote. Like just get out of your comfort zone. It's hard, but it's all mental, right? Like there was, I did a Jones Beach half Ironman. It was the first Jones Beach half Ironman. It was like 3,800 people registered, the largest half Ironman. A tropical storm hit. It is a named tropical storm, and they still had the race. 50-mile-an-hour winds and rain. I think maybe like 1,800 people finished out of 38 people that registered. So it's just, but you're stronger from finishing that. Like my whole thing was just like, don't die on the bike. Like I was getting like whiplash, like bitch slapped by Mother Nature in the wind, like going over these bridges, like literally with the bike because it's so arrow and thick wheels. You're
Right.
just getting like blown over. Like it was terrifying, and I survived it. But like you don't grow if you don't challenge yourself. Just like the bodybuilding thing, I learned, I got things out of it, like eating more protein before like morning workouts. Better ways to build muscle, like all these squats and all these glute workouts I did, it gave me more power on the bike. Like that never would have happened if I didn't go down this terrifying road. So things are scary, but you can do it. Like you just need to be yourself and do it. Like if you want to do it, just do it. It's all mental. If you quit mentally, you're gonna quit physically. Like I've done cold swims, like Jeff was saying, like, and Bill, they do these cold swims. You just keep going in your head. Like yeah, it's cold, yeah, it sucked, but you're not gonna die. You're gonna be okay. Just keep going in your head, and you can do it.
How about you, Kath?
What was the question?
For people that are doing hard things that are not used to, like you're used to swimming, you're used to triathlons. That's not hard for you anymore. Something that's completely foreign to you or someone else. Talk about advice you would have for someone that's trying something hard for the first time or trying a new endeavor or they're entering a new season of their life
Well, like
and they're trying to get better.
yeah, like with you when we were talking, I said don't. It's the unknown that you're afraid of, right? It's not necessarily the challenge. It's the unknown of that challenge. And like I said to you, I said take it one swim at a time. When you get there, it's going to be like I didn't. I just was like dive in and go. I wanted to do a 1.5, and Bill's like no jumping, no flip, just jumping, no flipping. I'm like when everyone goes, I'm going to do my 1.5. I was good. I didn't, Bill, but Will Kane did. I'm like, hey, you're flipping and I can't flip. But I just so for me, it's just a matter
Hold,
of
hold. Don't flip. When you first jump off the start,
yep,
it's feet.
feet first. Yes,
Sometimes it's a little shallow there.
yeah.
We do sonar drops there to make sure, but I don't care if you do flips off the bar just because it's plenty.
Yeah. All right, good. That will be fun. But yeah, so what I was telling you is just do one leg at a time because, and just take it like that's what I do in triathlons. I'm sure Catherine does too. It's just the swim, and then it's just the bike, and then it's just the run. And then where Catherine and I are concerned, it's like, all right, who can I run down next? And we start pegging them off one by one. But yeah, I think that it's just a matter of you got to do it right because the unknown. If you don't do it, you'll never know. It's just like Bill's tattoo. I mean, if you don't do it, you'll never know.
That's beautiful.
Well, hold on. Which tattoo? You're not talking the one by my butt, right?
Right. Now,
um,
everyone knows about that one.
yeah, but I did want to finish what I was going to say. Of all the races that I've done, the most natural high, because you do get endorphins on racing, and I'm sure Catherine will tell you. Same with being on stage. I got endorphins from that one. I don't know how Catherine has the discipline to eat like that because I eat pretty clean, but man, that's why I can't wait to go and try pizza in New York now, because you guys all said pizza. I got a large pizza Saturday night when I got home. We took the barge home early, the ferry home early, and we got home. And Dave's like, "What do you want for dinner?" I go, "I'm going for a pizza." He goes, "You haven't had a pizza all season." I go, "And I'm going to add more cheese on it." And I thawed out some meatballs. I added meatballs on top, and it was a barbecue chicken pizza. But of all of the races, the natural high that I get and that I got from doing this Navy SEAL swim, I can't even describe it. It brings tears to my eyes. So I have to thank you, Bill, for doing this for our service members, because I have dealt with so many people in my bead store that have PTSD that are just so messed up. And if I can bring that little bit of joy in teaching them beading and just getting them to relax and getting them out of that realm so that they're not having those repetitive thoughts. And I work closely with General Don Boldock on the PTSD. And it's just, when I did that race, not race, but when I did your event, I was on a natural high the whole way. And I breathed to the left. So I know what Catherine was saying, just looking at that Statue of Liberty. But man, on that last leg, breathing to the left was not fun. I gulped so much water. It was unbelievable. And of course, I'm swimming towards the barge where all the waterfall is, because I thought that was like for us. And I'm like totally off course. And I look and everyone's going to the right. But I was on such a high for like a whole week after that SEAL swim. And I said, that's it. I'm doing this every year. I'll be the first 90-year-old female doing it.
Awesome. That's
So,
beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful sentiment. You know, Jeff, a couple things about Jeff. You guys don't, yeah, he's been through buds and he's quite the athlete, but you don't know really how good he is. Like in high school, he set the record for some of the lifts in high school while he was running cross country. So while he's doing endurance sports and playing, I think it was soccer and football, but he's doing everything and he was strong. So he's an athlete all around. Then you add in swimming. Jeff, talk about persevering and advice you would have for folks on making themselves the best version of themselves.
Yeah, would just come up with a plan of what you want to be, and then roadmap it out. For me, I became a power lifter because I was already a good runner. I was on a soccer team first. Then the cross country team was really bad. So they're like, hey, well, some of the best soccer players come on the cross country team. You don't have to practice. You just run the meets. So I started doing that. We run enough in soccer. And then I tore my ACL my sophomore year playing basketball, and my leg atrophied from being in that immobilizer brace. And I was just like totally destroyed. That's why I actually realized I wanted to be a SEAL, because I wanted the challenge. I was like, what's the hardest thing I can do? I realized I don't want to just be sitting around in an office. I want the biggest challenge in the world. I was like, okay, be a Navy SEAL. Until 9/11 happened, I just wanted to go kill the most evil people. But so I'm like, I need to build back my legs. And there was a local powerlifting team, and I started going in. I was squatting like the bar to start, maybe 4 or 5 months after having my ACL reconstructed. Slowly started building it up. By the end, I squatted 500, and I was running close to a 5-minute mile at the same time. And I was, doing international power. I would go to Columbus, Ohio. Larry Simmons would be like watching me lift right there. All the judges, Gene Reichklack, first person to bench 900 and 1,000. I used to spot him as he would rep out 500 or 600 in the gym and everything. And so you just have to be in there day in and day out. And I'd have my basketball practice for 2 hours, and I would go and lift for 2 hours. I would just totally commit myself to being an athlete, and I would just try to train every chance I could get. I'd try to be like a total, hybrid athlete before that was even a term. I was powerlifting. I was, doing calisthenics. I was doing a long distance running. I'm like, I need to be good at everything. And so that's what I try to do. Then, I went to college, and I was like, I want to be like a fighter as well. So I was like boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. I was training with all these guys in the UFC, and literally I'd be like watching someone fight in UFC and then getting beat up by them like the next day. It was kind of, I'm like, I knew everyone I went to University of Central Florida. I knew everyone in Orlando that could beat me up. I thought it was awesome. And then And so while I was going through buds and instructors would, be yelling at you, talking all this stuff, like degrading you, and I'd just be like, I'm like, I respect him as a SEAL, but I'd think to myself as they'd be like saying negative things to me, I'd be like, I would whoop you if I wanted to in a fist fight, not with a gun. I wasn't, on their level yet. But things like that make you when you constantly are doing hard things and challenge. I would go. I was in college. I would go out all night and then go to like jujitsu and MMA and Muay Thai at 8 or 9 in the morning, having slept a few hours. So I think being there, kind of hungover, not good sleep, doing these hard things just made me really mentally tough for going out and doing buds. So then when I was in buds and I got a decent night's sleep, 5 6 hours, I'd go out. I'm like, man, this is kind of not that bad because I'm not not hungover right now and actually got some good sleep. I'm like, doing all that stuff actually kind of prepared me for this. Putting yourself in a negative position sometimes can actually have a positive to it as well.
But it's
And
Mar-
amazing. It's just so amazing, Jeff, that you can do because my late husband, Mike Champagne, was Mr. New Hampshire and he hated doing tries. He'd do them for me, but he hated it because it breaks down your muscle. And it's amazing that you can power lift like that and still do a 5 minute mile. I mean, because not many people can do that. So that's awesome.
I was only like 170 or 175 pounds at that time too, and about like
Wow.
6'1". So I did not have the traditional powerlifter build, but I had a great squat and deadlift. My bench was like so, but yeah, but I was just trying to be the, height. I wanted to make myself so strong that I would never have like tear my ACL like that again. And I
Right.
never really had a knee problem again or leg problem because I made my thighs really strong.
Just an all-American guy, he's a patriot and has been in the service. He's in great shape. He's got that boyish look. The boy doesn't even swear. So he's the guy that all the girls want to take home for mom, but he'll take the girls all out all night until 4 or 5 a.m. and then go do Muay Thai and run a 5K in the next morning and set the new record. Great guy to know and have on your team, obviously. Bill, for you, and as we wrap up here, obviously a lot of adversity over years, a lot of triumphs, a lot of ups and downs, personally, professionally, and you still show up trying to make an impact on the world. And talk about advice you have about being selfless and trying to give back to your teammates or those around you or those that you don't even know that are maybe suffering about leaving the world a better place than when you found it. With the All Blacks, the New Zealand rugby team, their term is sweep the sheds. That when they leave the locker rooms, even on the away games, they leave the place nicer than they found it. They're always trying to leave their jersey to the next guy in a better spot. And you always seem to be the guy that wants to leave the world a better place. Talk about your advice about making an impact and leaving the world a better place.
To be honest with you, I'm like that guy that's struggling on the beachfront, and I see it, and I'm in the back of the pen, and I see another guy struggling, or a couple other guys, and I start on, come on, you're almost there, you can do it. And I'm really doing that because it's helping me. And to be honest with you, like it's just therapy. There's a great picture of Kathleen Hartwell where she's by the Statue of Liberty and she's like this.
Yeah.
All the time.
And that's like what it's really about. It's like when I see all these people on the podcast, they're beautiful. And when you bring us together and we're doing something cool, like Kathy, she was saying she was on time for a week after. And it's the same thing for me. When I'm around these great Americans, and it's a big boost for me. And to be honest with you, I'm just chasing the high and trying to do good. That's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. As Bill, as one of the words that you listen to Bill enough, he'll say the word beautiful oftentimes. You guys are all beautiful people, especially Jeff. But you guys are beautiful people, beautiful patriots doing beautiful work for so many others. And Lucas and I are lucky to have met you and I've worked with you now twice. Um, every Monday's like continuing education for us, but it's not just on how to be a better coach and things like that. It's just how to be a better person, and being around you folks makes it a lot easier. And Bill talks about being around the caliber of the person, and you four individuals are excellent examples of that. I'm very blessed and thankful and grateful that I've met you and that you guys have been on the show again. So thank you for your time and the gift of your effort and wisdom today. We are better for it.
Ditto. Ditto.
Thanks,
We'll see.
guys.
Yeah.
We'll see
Thanks.
you guys.